Hello, gorgeous, and welcome back to the Tara Kinden Audio Experience. If you are new here, my name is Tara Kinden. I'm the founder of Bioenergetic Somatics, and my work lives in the intersection of cosmic awareness, nervous system education, somatic practices, and frequency. In other words, I help women reconnect to themselves, to their bodies, to their intuition, to the natural rhythm that lives inside of them. So over the last couple of weeks, I've started a series on YouTube called From Head to Body. The response to this has been just exciting and incredible all at once. So today, I want to bring those first 3 conversations from that series together here in a really lovely and digestible place, because these 3 videos are actually telling just part of a bigger story. They explore why so many women live up in their heads and what happens when emotions can't move through the body, how dissociation can start showing up, and how we gently begin to return to ourselves. I also want to talk about something that's been very present for me lately, the ocean. And many of you probably already know I live on the ocean, and honestly, I'm so grateful for this opportunity. It's a privilege, and I want to be able to start sharing a little bit more about it. So I created something called the daily tide checks, and maybe you've been watching them. I've challenged myself to do 100 days of watching the tide, watching the rhythm of the ocean. And because the ocean has so much to teach us about our nervous systems, I almost think of the ocean as like ocean medicine. All right, we'll get to that later. But one of the first things I do want to talk about in the series is something that so many women recognize immediately. From a very young age, many of us were rewarded for our thinking. Be logical, be smart, be composed. Those qualities were celebrated. And there's nothing wrong with that. A strong mind is a beautiful thing. But what often happens along the way is that our emotional world does not receive the same kind of support. Maybe emotions were overwhelming in the environment you grew up in. Maybe there simply just was not space for them. And maybe we learned very quickly that thinking our way through a situation was safer than feeling our way through it. So we developed this incredibly capable mind. But slowly, without realizing it, we start living almost entirely from the neck up. And the body is becoming secondary. So the interesting thing about the body is actually where our emotions and our emotional experiences move. The body is where the sensation lives. It's where the intuition lives. Like all of the senses begin in the body. So when we become disconnected from our bodies, we may still understand our lives intellectually, but we don't always feel connected to ourselves. That's where curiosity begins. We're not coming at this from a place of judgment, just pure curiosity. So as I'm recording this, Mercury is retrograde and Uranus is going to move into Gemini. This is going to fire up our minds even more than they have been over this last little while. Intellectual capacity is just going to continue to expand. And if we don't figure out a way to come back and drop into our bodies, we're going to be a little bit lopsided, if you will. So let me give you a real life example of this idea of being in the head and not the body. Imagine you're out somewhere. Maybe you're at a dinner with friends, or you're at a gathering. Something happens with your partner. Maybe they say something that lands sideways. Maybe it's subtle and no one else notices, but something in your body sure noticed and your body reacts. Maybe the chest tightens a little. You get a lump in your throat, the stomach drops. Whatever it is, you felt it. And you are absolutely not in a place where you can unpack it in that moment. You're with other people. You're socializing. You're holding the evening together. So what happens? Your mind stepped in and says, okay, not right now. We'll deal with this later. I'm going to put it in this filing cabinet and we'll get to it when we get to it. And that's actually a very intelligent response. But here's the part we often miss. Well, that mind files the story somewhere in the filing cabinet, The body is still holding all of the sensation. So you're sitting there smiling, pretending that things are good, participating in conversation, carrying on with the evening, but part of your nervous system is still holding the charge of that moment. Later that night, you might notice your mind beginning to replay the conversation over and over again, like you're in that loop. And this isn't because you're a dramatic person or a highly emotional person. It's because the body has not had a chance to move the experience through yet. The mind is trying to resolve something that the body is actually still carrying. And this is where small movements can really begin to help. Taking a moment to bring in a little adjustment in your body, like a slow breath, maybe even shaking your hands to discharge the power, stepping outside for a moment, letting the nervous system just discharge even a tiny bit of that energy. We don't need to solve the entire situation in that moment. Or even, when you're home processing, but you're still not quite ready. We just need to allow a little movement. And another piece of this conversation that's something many women experience, but don't actually talk about, is dissociation. Sometimes emotional experiences become so intense that the nervous system simply cannot process them in the moment, months, years later, decades even. So the body does something super intelligent. It creates space. And sometimes that looks like you're leaving the body slightly, feeling disconnected, maybe numb, far away from the sensation. And this is not a flaw in the system. It's actually intelligent protection. It's a very powerful way that the nervous system says, whoa, this is just too much right now. The challenge is that sometimes people learn how to function very well in that state and life continues to carry on. Obviously, your responsibilities still continue, but the connection to the body doesn't fully return. There's almost a little bit of trepidation or fear because whoa, if I feel all of this, I may not be okay, right? So part of this work becomes gently inviting the system back online, not about forcing things to get processed, but just creating moments where your body can have a chance to feel safe again. And what does this look like? What does it look like to return to your body after moments like this? One of the things I talked about in the series is how easy it can be, how simple it can be. It does not need to be complicated. One example that surprises people is something so small. Washing your feet. I know. Some of you are laughing right now. What? Literally, go sit on your toilet seat, grab a warm face cloth, sit down and wash your feet. A gentle wash, not like a mad scrub, but just something really gentle. Most people, of course, we wash our bodies in the shower or the bath, and the feet are standing there holding us up. They're enjoying the water, but we don't actually wash the feet. I mean, some of you may, but the majority of people do not. So when you slowly and mindfully begin to wash your feet with warm water, something interesting happens. Your attention drops down into the body. I mean, it's the opposite end of the mind. Your nervous system begins to settle a little. Your feet are what carry you through life. And so that small moment becomes a kind of energetic hygiene, a way to reconnect to yourself. And a tip that I learned many years ago was that reflexology is a reflection, almost like a roadmap to the body, because every part of our foot is connected to either a body system or a part of the body. And if you have a very busy mind, and let's say you wake up in the middle of the night and you can't get back to sleep, and I mean, I'm talking to midlife women here, so that's probably all of you, you can actually just reach towards your toes, your big toes, and just kind of tap the top of them or give them a little rub. that calms the mind because the big toe is connected to the head. The side of the big toe is connected to the neck. So if you get a lot of neck tension, I mean, this is another benefit to washing your feet, is that you can even do a little bit of a foot rub with an oil if you feel so inclined. Jojoba oil is the best because it's not blocking or sealing anything. It's just allowing fluidity, which is what we want. We want fluidity. The feet help us move forward in life. They carry us through life, but they also help us to move forward. So something, just a little tip that you may want to explore and be curious about. Now, let's get back to ocean medicine, because this is one of the things I'm just really thrilled to talk to you about. This has been so present because the ocean has been so wild. And if you don't know, I live by the water here in Newfoundland in Mermaid Cove. And every day I step out onto my deck. My little seaside studio sits on the ocean. And so I'm observing. I'm just being curious. Is the tide coming in? Is it pulling back? Is the water calm? Can I see to the bottom? Is it wild? And what is fascinating me is how often this ocean is mirroring the internal experience, the inner tide, but also reflecting the cosmic energies that are at play. It's crazy awesome. And so some days the energy is really expansive, and some days it pulls inward. Some days there's movement under the surface, but the ocean never tries to hold everything at once. It's constantly moving. Energy is coming in, energy is going out. And as human beings, we often try to do something very different. We hold things. We hold conversations that never finish. We hold emotions that never have space to move. We hold experiences that our nervous systems can't even process. But the body was designed to be the same as the ocean, to move energy just like the tide does. And when we spend time observing the rhythm, our own internal rhythm, something in the nervous system starts to remember its own rhythm. And this is what I mean when I say ocean medicine. It really isn't that mystical. It's about rhythm. And the body loves rhythm. The body is remembering how it can move again and feel free again and feel joyful, knowing that this too shall pass. Sometimes the waves are more intense in certain days and certain moments than other days, but we allow what is there to just be present. If this conversation resonated with you, I've created a full from the head to the body video series over on YouTube, where we are exploring these much more deeply. Each video builds on the last one. So if you'd like to kind of continue on this journey, I recommend starting at the beginning of the playlist and move through them in order. I will leave the playlist link in the description so you can easily find it. And I've also created a head to body frequency tuning, which is a really beautiful way to begin to experience how sound can help the nervous system begin to settle and reconnect. Sound has a remarkable ability to reach places of the body that the mind can't always access on its own. And so many people find it deeply soothing, comforting, and surprisingly powerful for helping the body release and recalibrate. So if you're curious about that, I encourage you to take a few minutes to listen to that tuning. I think it's 9 minutes long. You can go back to it anytime you like. And if you are looking for deeper support, really reconnecting to your body, your nervous system, you can always book a private session with me. We're going to work with sound, somatic awareness, and the nervous system regulation that will help you specifically. They can be done in person and online. Everything will be linked below. So if this episode sparks something for you, I can't wait to continue the conversation. You can always comment on the YouTube videos. I check them all the time, so I'm going to be responding to those. Let me know how things land and how they resonate. And if you know a strong and powerful woman who could use a little help getting out of her head, maybe she is someone who is constantly over giving, overdoing. She's over responsible. She's super strong. She's the one that says, yeah, I'm fine. Everything is good. Please send this to her to help her put language to some of the things she may be experiencing. As always, my friends, thank you so much for being here. And until next time, remember who you came here to be. So, my friends, if you loved today's episode of the Tara Kinden Audio Experience and you want to watch that playlist, you're going to want to click right here. This is the Curiosity series that also includes that sound healing. Until next time, take care.